Hi and welcome back to the organizing tip of the day. Today we are tackling clutter. And not clutter in like the traditional sense, piles of paper and stuff like that, but the tchotchke clutter. And what I mean by that is all those little like special little things you've collected or people have given you over the years, little like vases and figurines and crap that for some reason grow in your home, and before you know it, surfaces are covered with stuff that you like, but you not necessarily love. And I'm going to give you a quick example. And this is a sad story. A little bit sad. It really is. My aunt passed away last November, quite suddenly, and it was really, really awful and devastating for our entire family. And she gave me this angel a few years ago that when my daughter was born, it was like an angel with a family underneath, and it was really, really beautiful. And while dusting, I set it down. My 2-year-old picked it up and smashed it on the floor. And I loved it. And it reminded me of her, and every time I looked at it, I kind of like, you know, had, oh, my aunt, and when it was broken, I was like, oh my god, it was horrible, because I thought those memories are going to be gone, and I'll never get that back, and I was really, really devastated. But once all the pieces were gone, like the next day, I was like, you know what, I don't need an object to hold those memories. And I think that's what I'm doing with lots of things in my home, is looking at the sentimental value in an object and not realizing that it's actually having all of these things around me is taking away time, it's taking away my energy, and it's kind of making things cluttered around my home, and I'm not loving looking at them. And while I do wish I still had the angel thing from my aunt, I can sort of look at other objects in a different way now. So I'm going to give you an example here in my bedroom. Okay, you ready? Look at this. So I was sick a few years ago, and I had a little medical problem, and while I was going through it, people were buying me angel stuff. So I started like getting all these little angel things, and then people were like, oh, look, she collects angels, and then they started buying me more angels. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't like them. But I keep them because I think of the people who gave them to me when they gave them to me. But you know what? Every time I move them to dust them, every time I'm in here and I see them up there, they're just not giving me that sense of relaxation that I want to feel in my bedroom. It's just clutter. So there's a couple of things that you can do if you have things like this, little tchotchkes, that's what these would be called, that you're not really in love with, but you don't really want to get rid of either. So, I know it's hard, but we can't keep filling up our home with things that we don't love. We should only have things that we love in our home, and we should try to make it feel as restful and tranquil as possible. So, number one thing you could do is spray paint them. And I know what you're thinking, spray paint them! But your other option is getting rid of them. So, by spray painting them white, like a nice monochrome or a cream color, and having them all one color, they sort of disappear and blend in. You're still having that memory of something special that you had, like a Royal Dalton that was your grandmother's or something. And I know that sounds, you're gonna spray paint it! But maybe Royal Dalton's not a good one. But spray painting them white gives them a more modern, monochromatic look, and it'll really, I don't know, open up this space and make it airier. So that's one option. Of course, I'm not doing that to those because, you know what, I don't even love them enough to spray paint them, and they don't even have that sentimental value. So option number 2 is probably what I'm going to do, and that's get a box, a memory box, and put, October 2011 on it, and put it downstairs in my box. So I'm going to open it next year. Do not open until then. And I'm going to put all the things in my home that I don't love, but I don't want to get rid of either yet. And then next year, I'm going to open that box and then make the hard decision. So yes, I'm passing the buck to next year, but it's going to be easier when I don't see them every day. And then I can open the box and say, you know what? I haven't missed this stuff at all. Gone. Option number 3 is find somebody who would really, really actually love and appreciate it, like old people. My grandmother loves tchotchke things, and except one of those is from my grandmother. It's not the one that she actually gave you, but there's ways of donating them, or donating them to the cause, like, you know, they have yard sales for a cure, and things like that. Knowing that it's going to go to a good home, and you're raising money for, you know, a good cause or whatever. Like Goodwill is another one to donate your things to. Okay, so I'm going to go with option number 2 and put them in a little box with a note on the outside, don't open for a year. But then it comes to this thing. Look at this. Okay, so my husband got this. It's a funny story. It's like this little herb kit, and my husband got this for me when we were first dating, and he thought it was like an antique, and the store told him it was an antique. And so he bought it and he was like, look, it's an antique little herb thing, because I really liked planting at the time. But then when we flipped it over, it had a sticker made in China. So it's not an antique. They totally swindled him and he paid way too much for it. So when I look at it, I think of that funny story, but I gotta admit, I really hate the color, and it's not an antique. So I am gonna spray paint this white, so it'll match with the room, and we can still use it for our change, and he keeps receipts and things like that in it, but it'll blend in with my room and won't stand out like an eyesore. So I'm keeping it, but I'm gonna keep it and make it prettier. I'm gonna spray paint it. So yeah, I don't know what I'm blabbering about, but if you want your home to feel restful and more calming, but you don't want to get rid of things, try putting it in a box. Just packing the stuff up with good packing up stuff, and then look at your home in a whole new light. If you decide you want the stuff back, unpack it again. If not, put a year sticker on it and go through it in a year. I'm just blabbering on. Anyways, that's your tip of the day, and we'll see you next time.